Welcome to the Mockingbird Show. And today's episode is about a very important topic, which is how important it is to teach the values of respect, kindness, empathy, compassion to little ones. This is a very important subject, I feel, because most of the schools concentrate on giving education, which is more academic in nature, but they fall short of giving value education, which is most essential, and more so during the early childhood years, because this is the time when the child's brain architecture is being formed and what goes into the minds actually stays on. So today's video will be about why we should give value education to children, what is happening to the value system of our society these days from the incidences that we are seeing very frequently, what are some tips for parents and educators to inculcate kindness, respect, love, compassion, empathy in the little ones right from the start. And I would share some story from my life where I feel very happy that I was introduced to these values from early on and they stayed on with me. So welcome to the Mockingbird Show, and before we go on, I would like you to subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed as yet, and stay updated with all the latest I am going to come up with for the parents and the educators. As a child, I was very fortunate to be educated in a convent school. It was called Holy Child, and we were taught a subject called moral science. I think this subject still stays as ethical education in some of the schools, but moral science for us was one of the core subjects, though we did not appear for it in the boards. And this subject actually made a lot of impact, not only in my life, but when I talk with my friends who I meet after so many years, we keep meeting, and we have felt what difference it did make in our lives. The value education, ethics and morals play a vital role, and that is what I try to inculcate in Tender Petal schools, that is my chain of preschools, where value education in terms of teaching children the core values of love, respect, all of it, honesty, kindness to the children through activities, through the playway method, where these values get into their minds as they grow. We have a lot of storytelling related to these different core values, and children actually take part in these stories. They role play and they understand. So this, I believe, is also a philosophy, is the Zushi schools. We had met a principal in Jakarta when we went for our conference. They follow the philosophy, which is a core Buddhist philosophy that talks about an individual's responsibility to be morally aware and the responsibility of that individual towards the society, what he or she is giving out to the society. So these kind of schools which have a value-based education, I feel, is very important, because at the end of the day, even if we are very accomplished in our lives, what are the core principles that guide us actually determines the level of success or the level of happiness that is attained in our lives. In the wake of the latest controversy of Ranbir Alabadia, where he went to this India Got Latent show and said something which was completely obnoxious, it was very unacceptable, it was something which was very disrespectful of one's parents, and this actually raised a lot of questions on what kind of value education are we giving our little ones. Because if the child knows that this is not the correct thing to do, he would not get under the peer pressure. Now we do not know why this happened. I would not go on to analyze it. But if I look at it from a moral standpoint, if I was in that place, I would have not done it. Why? Because I would have questioned my conscience. I would have asked whether this is the right thing to do just for popularity or for, just getting more attention, getting more likes. So that would have saved me from such a controversy, because Ranveer is a guy who had done a lot of good work, I would say, because I have been following him from years, and it is very sad to see this. But at the same time, the question of moral and ethics in our life comes in, because see, this is for you to see how a successful person can also get into a very bad controversy only because he had done certain things which are not morally correct, which are not respectful, which do not indicate any kind of respect towards the society. And being an influencer, I would say, because as influencers, many youth follow. And when the youths follow you, what you are saying is again very important, because that is going to be followed by the others. So you cannot normalize certain things which are very objectionable. I would also like to draw the attention to the Instagram, where so many videos which are depicting things which are unkind, ruthless, cruel, and those videos are getting such high views. Why? Because we are feeding the society those kind of things which are actually normalizing disrespect, unkindness, and dishonesty, just for the heck of getting likes, getting the attention. It is called disruption, but disruption should be used in the right way. We use disruption for marketing, when we are getting out of the box and doing the marketing of our product in a different way. It's called disruption. But to gain attention, if you are doing things which are sadistic, things which are immoral, that is not the right approach. So this again is very important, the moral and the ethical values that kind of back us up. And that again comes from the early childhood years, because these are the most crucial years of a child's life, when we hear and we wire what we see as an example, we wire it in our brain and we carry that forward and comes out, when we are adults. So the base or the core or the foundation of a child's life or an individual's life is during these first 8 to 9 years. And so it is so important that we inculcate the core values. So we as parents need to understand this, and we need to actually give more value to the core values in our lives. Education is about not only getting you a job or getting you into a service, but it is about living a life as a good individual, as a happy individual, as somebody who is responsible towards the society. Now coming to the next segment, how do we inculcate kindness and respect in our little ones? So I would first talk about role modeling. Children learn by examples. Whatever we tell them actually goes through one ear and it comes out through the other. But what they are seeing practically in their lives, in the lives of the parents, is what gets into their minds. So we as parents need to be respectful towards our elders. We need to be respectful towards the people who are helping us in our houses, people we meet on the road, anybody who comes into our lives, and we should be kind. So our role modeling plays a major role in the child's life in terms of understanding these core values. Now, if I tell somebody to be honest and I am not honest, then that person would be seeing that I'm dishonest and it is okay to be dishonest. So these are not the right tones that we set as examples. So it is important that as parents we role model in the right way, we use the right words. We are not disrespectful. We should be very conscious about our language, the words that we use when our child is present. Sometimes we may get angry, but in the presence of our children, we need to be very mindful. Another thing is, you should set clear goals. A child's behavior should be appreciated if the child is behaving in the right manner, showing kindness, showing love, empathy, compassion. And we should also set clear goals in terms of how the child needs to behave. Storytelling is another part which is a very strong tool, I must say, to inculcate these values in our children, because as little ones, we still remember the stories that our grandmom and our grandpa used to tell us, even our teachers or my mother used to tell me. So these stories actually stay on, and they are the right kind of a tool that enables a child to understand these concepts of gratitude, kindness, and the other core values that I'm talking about. Also, we need to be stopping a child from misbehavior right from the start. We call it nipping it at the bud. So when a child shows disrespect, unkindness, we need to tell the child that this is not the right behavior. So what is the acceptable behavior, how the child needs to behave? That is very important, because many times I've seen parents not mindful about the child's behavior, not even giving attention, thinking that the child will improve when he or she grows up, but these kind of characteristics stay on. The next is praise positive behavior. If a child is using words like thank you, sorry, always praise the child. And these words are the magic words. We call it the magic words in our classroom. All of it actually makes a child understand that we need to be thankful, we need to be apologetic if we are wrong. So they understand these core values, and so we should appreciate all kind of good behavior of our children. Always encourage empathetic behavior of your child. We can also do role modeling, where we are role modeling kindness, we are role modeling respect. We are doing a short play on showing our love towards nature, showing our love towards animals. So we can do these acts. We can actually do pretend play and teach the child, because when they are involved, they learn even more. So that way they will learn the core values in a very subtle manner by enjoying it. And last but not the least, tell your child to feel how it feels to be kind. If a child does an act of kindness, of sharing, or of caring, make the child aware of that feeling. How are you feeling after doing this? How are you feeling after giving your toy to your friend? Or how are you feeling after sharing your single chocolate that you have with your friend? When the child understands these feelings, he or she would understand the joy of kindness, the joy of being respectful, the joy of loving, the joy of being empathetic towards others. And that, I feel, is core to our education. It is very important to have these feelings. It is very important to be humane first, then academically brilliant. And I believe that every preschool should foster these values right from the start. And I would like to share that these values, through the moral science class that we learned, even that of being kind to oneself, being hygienic, being honest, respecting every profession, all of this has actually made a very positive impact in my life. And also, I have learned to be more charitable since I was a little one, because that time we used to go and donate clothes, we used to donate food grains, and those activities that we did from our school end, from our house when there was flood in Assam, we did these kind of activities. It actually taught me how we can be charitable. And today also, I love to engage in activities where I work voluntarily for people who need us. And these, I must tell you parents, I must tell you educators, it stays and it adds value to your life. Stay tuned to the Mockingbird Show. See you again next week with another interesting video on an interesting topic. Stay happy, stay blessed.